You're listening to the Veterinary Innovation Podcast.
You're listening to the Veterinary Innovation Podcast. My name is Shawn Wilkie, and along with my awesome co-host, we interview the innovators in the space every week. This week's episode has been scheduled and rescheduled and scheduled again and finally ready to get going. Ivan, please go ahead and introduce today's guest.
Hi, I'm Ivan Zach. Very excited to introduce our guest today, Olivier Reymond. He's a VP of Veterinary Business and Corporate Affairs at Royal Canin. Olivier has been working at Royal Canin for almost 30 years through different European countries and Russia, where we just discovered we have common friends. He believes that business success and corporate responsibility are inseparable. That's why he is a frequent supporter of economics of mutuality at Royal Canin and beyond. Today, he is the head of both veterinary business and corporate affairs. He is proud to operate in a company that has genuine purpose to make a better world for pets. Olivier, welcome to the show. Thank you for finding the time.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
So, huge company. You've been through so much with this company. We probably will go a little bit off track of the topic, but I want to ask you this. I'm finishing an awesome book that I love, and it's called Founder's Mentality. And it talks about different companies, how they survive through different episodes in the transformation, how they survive growth and everything else. What can you tell us about Royal Canin through the 30 years? What major transformations you've seen? And was it always the upward sort of movement, or was it up and down at a certain point? And how was that experience for you?
I'll probably stick to your point first on the founder's mentality. And actually, it's very interesting because there have been a lot of changes, obviously, in the Royal Canin business over the 50 plus years this business exists. But there is one thing that has been extremely consistent regarding the vision and the purpose. The business has been founded by a veterinarian in 1968, so 50 plus years ago. And actually, he started with something in mind, that nutrition could be a vehicle for health. Actually, the funny story is that he was actually receiving some German Shepherd breeders on a regular basis, and especially he got cases of a dermatologic issue. So he used to go for the standard cream treatment and so on. And what he realized that when the dogs were on treatment, they had improvements. When he stopped the treatment, the pathology was coming back. So he decided to completely change the galenic and say, okay, how could we heal the dog in a different situation? And he realized that through nutrition, he could do a lot of improvement on the dog's skin quality. So actually, he has been really promoting the idea of health through nutrition almost from day one, founding this business. And I must confess that this has been really the mantra of this business, and this has not changed over the 50 years of existence of this business. So this is really interesting.
Olivier, it's really interesting. With such a massive history, and now you see this kind of startup boom, this boom around artificial intelligence, and Royal Canin has this vision to improve the overall health of pets. What initiatives does Royal Canin kind of currently have that are really interesting that our audience might be able to look up some more information to help you guys along this journey of improving pet health?
So really, there is one thing that absolutely differentiates cats and dogs versus humans is the ability to talk. And really, in our quest of really making health through nutrition, there is one thing we wanted to improve is the ability of cats and dogs to tell us what were their own problems. And actually, this is where artificial intelligence, this is where innovation is coming, because we have discovered now tools, diagnostic systems, services that allows us to say when a cat has an issue. And for example, we've been partnering with a very interesting Canadian startup called Blue Care. And those guys have actually invented cat litter granules that you top on your cat litter, and when the cat pee on it, the granule either stays white as it is or turn blue. And what does it mean? If the granules turn blue, meaning that this cat has blood in the urine. If this cat has blood in the urine, the cat is talking to you. I have a problem. And then it's up to us to say, okay, we bring the cat to the vet, we increase the medicalization of this cat, and we go and look for really the exact pathology this cat is suffering from. So this is just one of the many examples, but really AI and diagnostic is going really to change the way we improve the medicalization of cats and dogs.
A little side kind of anecdote. So I'm the CEO of Talkatoo. We're a dictation company for veterinarians. And our company, the number of times that I've been asked, so your software allows the animals to talk in English to the humans, and that's not what we do. But the number of times that I've been asked that question is numerous. So it's kind of funny
Was
that
that
you
not
say
only
that.
once? I thought there was only once that
No. Again, like a week ago, actually, it just keeps happening. It's a reoccurring theme.
You should just sell it as such that we interpret animal language to humans.
Yeah, exactly. So, we're not going to do that, but if we could, I mean, it'd be a whole different company, and I'm sure we could sell it to a large organization. But Olivier, just to get back to kind of your point around innovation, we recently had a guest on our show, a Ukrainian from PetCube. And that conversation was really interesting because they're picking up subtleties in the animal's movements that are communication cues that we've never realized before because of the AI modeling that's happening. So do you have any other examples or any other companies or partnerships that you'd like to highlight to our audience? I mean, people love innovation, and with such a large company, I'm sure you guys are doing other interesting things.
Yes, I mean, we do have a few programs really leveraging image recognition, where we are trying as proof of concept really to make again the cats and the dog talk to us by taking picture. What's the face of a cat when he's frightened? What's the name of a face when the dog is happy, when he's hungry? So those are the different places where you can really make a difference. If through machine learning tomorrow we have the ability to, with our phone, flash the cat or the dog's face, then we visualize what's actually the meaning of this facial expression. That would probably help us to understand things. We have actually one of our partner company inside Mars, which is called Whistle. Those guys are making dog collars. And actually, this is really impressive because with their algorithm, they have the ability really to monitor when a dog is limping, when a dog is drinking, when a dog is actually sleeping. And all those movements are monitored. And it's really impressive because it helps to monitor, for example, when you have a dedicated food like hypoallergenic at Royal Canin, which is removing the symptoms of dermatology, you can really over time see if the dog is itching less and less. And actually this allows you to say, okay, that food not only visibly you see has an impact on health, but you can actually monitor the progresses looking at the dog. So tomorrow we'll have the same thing on the remission of limping, and we can monitor if suddenly we discover that a dog is drinking much more than he used to do the months before. What does it mean? Is this a precursor signal for diabetes, for example? Those are all the type of things where really IA and the digital technologies can really help us again to make cats and dogs talk to us.
That's awesome. And as we were talking about the ability of animals to talk, I first time I heard this analogy from John Ayres from IDEX. I had a chance to work with him for 1 year, and it was incredible. And I love how he said that diagnostics are giving animals the voice. They basically can tell what's happening with them because we can't really understand it from the pet itself. Now, you were talking about this concept of economics of mutuality, not something maybe because I'm a foreigner I'm familiar with. So I just wanted you to maybe open up that a little bit because that's in the purpose of Royal Canin. What are we talking about here when you talk about economics of mutuality?
Actually, the concept is coming from a think tank called Catalyst, and really their overall idea was to improve capitalism. I mean, we have seen that since the Chicago School of Economics and Milton Friedman, capitalism has been on maximizing the financial capital and the financial profit of companies. In the days we are living, we believe this is not enough. Actually, we believe there are 4 types of capitalism we need to take care of. Obviously, the financial capital, we've been talking about it, but there is as well the natural capital. And every year we hear that around mid-August, we have been consuming the natural resources of the world. So there is clearly a kind of scarcity coming in the field of natural capital. There is the human capital. How do we, as individuals, learn and grow and become better humans, more aware, more trained and educated people? And there is the social capital. And in part of the world as well, we see that people start to have fighting because of the inequalities, because of job losses, and we know that in some places the sense of community is actually disappearing or is decreasing. So our will actually is to reconcile those four types of capital and really make capitalism as a more holistic view, and really make sure that a company like Royal Canin do good and do well and rebalance the four types of capitalism.
Yeah, so fascinating. I mean, one of the things that I think I can't help but mention is, having you on the show is a pleasure just because of the sheer size and scale of Royal Canin. But we have a lot of small startups that come on our show, a lot of tiny little companies, a handful of people trying to do things. And I think back to one, Healthy Pet Connect. And so there's this veterinarian out of Wisconsin, and he's developed this, fitness plans for cats, and he's got a connected scale, and they're really trying to help these obese cats kind of trim weight. How would a startup that's listening to our show go about reaching out to Royal Canin if they have a great idea that they'd like to collaborate with you guys on?
We do have actually a lot of collaboration with startups around the world, and clearly weight management is really one of the massive issues that pets are facing all around the world. So really in that field, we want to open, and we want to talk more and more about ecosystem, because we believe that playing alone, like for example fighting against overweight or obesity, is virtually impossible for any company. This is actually the link between different companies that will make us successful in that. So typically you are more than welcome to reach out to me, or we have actually a dedicated team working with external partnership, and you are more than welcome to really contact Royal Canin, and then we'll see how we can work together.
Interesting. I was just when you guys were talking about the weight management in pets. I remember a classmate of mine in vet school on PI. He was from Malibu, from LA, and then one of the things that he wanted to do, I don't think he ever did it, but he wanted to potentially build a liposuction clinic for animals. In Malibu, it probably would fly. That's the only location I can think about it. But it's very interesting that you're talking about mutuality, and it's I was just doing a course at Stanford, and we were talking about what the companies bring to public now, and this old concept of just bringing the return on investment to their shareholders doesn't work anymore, because company has to bring economic and then social value, and if it doesn't do both, it's not long-lived company, and it's been repeatedly proven many times. And sort of not self-promote, but in our current company, Galaxy Vets, we decided that even bringing return on investment to your shareholders will work if everybody in the company is a shareholder. So that's kind of our model right now. But with everything that's developing, and I'm going to pivot a little bit, with everything that's happening in the business, sort of, things are changing. Veterinarians used to make, up to 20% on the retail in their clinics, or even higher than that. Now Chewy and Amazon has taken over. What do you see is happening with that? Will veterinarians be that source of recommendation only, or will they be a part of this sort of value chain for the pet food in the future? How do you see this developing? And do you think that Chewy and Amazon are evil, or are they just a new part of a new value chain, and that's how we're going to deliver services and pet nutrition?
So for me, veterinarians will remain central in really the medicalization of pets. I believe that cats and dogs, because they are more and more urban, because they are living longer, are naturally become more and more medicalized. And who else than the veterinarian could really treat and take care of the health? So I strongly believe that the veterinarian will absolutely have a unique position, especially for one thing, because they are actually seeing the animal, because they are touching the animal, they are making the diagnosis on premises and so on. And this part will not be disintermediated by any digital player. So for this reason, for me, the veterinarians really remain core. That said, it is true that the consumers really want more and more convenience. And sometimes, I mean, buying from the Chewy of this world could be really more convenient than having to drive on a regular basis, or especially to replenish. But this is why our job on a daily basis is really to help improve the medicalization. So I was talking on the Blue Care example. Really, we work every day to bring more cats and dogs to visit veterinarians in order for them to get better health. Remember that our vision and our purpose at Royal Canin is really make a better world for cats and dogs, meaning that there is no other way than bringing people to medicalize their pets that will actually fulfill this purpose.
That makes sense. Yeah, but there's a lot of shift of economics, how the veterinary organizations perceive the revenue and how they generate it. It's very interesting, and I think that we're not done yet. I mean, we now centralize pharmacies, and there's online pharmacies that work with the veterinarians and those that don't work with the veterinarians. We centralize diagnostics, which also used to be, just the on-premise thing. I think there's more to develop, and there's new unique business models are erupting. I think it's needed, and there's overwhelming demand. The good thing for veterinary medicine is that the demand is not shutting down. It's more and more and more pets out there, and we love them more. The humanization of the pet is just increasing with the time. So, what is next for Royal Canin? What is this in the future that the next sort of 5-10 years that Royal Canin sees as their development, and what is exciting for you? What gets you up in the morning and making you excited?
Ivan, before moving there, I really want to say back to your previous question, and you said it yourself. There are new models coming in, and for example, the online pharmacies, the model like the VetSource company is really an amazing opportunity for veterinarians to have their own online operation. So it really helped them to really do the sales conversion online through those kind of external companies. So I really want to make sure for our veterinary partners all around the world that they have opportunity to keep being relevant, not only on the diagnosis part, but as well on the sales part, because there are more and more tools at their services to go and compete on the marketplace. So this is really something I want to make, and it's not a fatality that new entrants are coming and taking part of their value creation. Actually, they have the means to respond to that.
Yeah, it's an evolution.
Absolutely. And we should be permanently in the quest of innovation, and how do we modernize our own businesses in order to respond to in that case, the cats and dogs demand for health, but as well the cat and dog owner demands for convenience and so on. But there are a lot of opportunities for veterinarians to be even more relevant than they were in the past. And if we now move to your last question, I think being Royal Canin, definitely we have a lot of new innovation in the pipeline, and the first one I want to relate to is called Royal Canin Individualis. And actually, we've been working on therapeutic nutrition for about 50 years, and we see more and more something new coming. We have a lot more cats and dogs when visiting the veterinarian having several pathology and or condition at the same time. You can have overweight, and you can have osteoarticular issue. You can have urinary disease and itching and skin and coat problems. So we have been actually working hard with veterinarians for about 10 years now to really invent the next generation of nutrition, which is actually solving the multi-pathology and multi-conditions. Because for many years, we have seen the veterinarian had to make a choice. They are choosing either to really work on the urinary pathology or the dermatology. And they always had to make this choice. So we say, you know what? With the new knowledge in nutrition, we have now the ability not to make this choice anymore. We can do the one and the other. And really, Royal Canin Individualis is all about this. The veterinarian would make the diagnosis, would list the different conditions of the cat and the dog, and Royal Canin would make an individualized formula for this specific animal. So when Jean Cattari, the founder of this business, started this business, he created one food for all cats and all dogs. Now we are at the level where we have one nutrition for each cat and dog. And this is, I think, the next generation of health nutrition.
It's fascinating. Yeah. So, like every other week, we record the show. We've blown through 22 minutes, and our promise to our listeners is to keep these episodes around 20 minutes. We like to end every episode in the same way. We've got a couple questions for you. First is a book, a TED Talk, a YouTube video, something that you found inspiring or interesting along your path.
Yeah, recently I've reread actually the book from Yvon Chouinard, the founder of Patagonia, called "Let My People Go Surfing," and this book is really amazing because it shows that from scratch you really can have company that do good and do well, being part of the way of doing business. And actually, when Royal Canin talks about economics of mutuality, this is exactly it. We want to do good for nature. We want to do good for people. We want to do good for actually interaction between social group. And we believe if we do that properly, the financial capital of the business will be as well at stake.
That's awesome. I love that book. Thank you. Thank you for that recommendation. And the last question that we usually ask, is there someone in the industry, the innovator, or someone that you think would be interesting to our audience to be invited on this show?
I've had as well the opportunity to meet during this year Olivier Reymond, the founder of Pronosia. And this guy actually has invented a digital twin for veterinarians. And I think with the massive knowledge we have today on veterinary medicine, it's more and more complex for a veterinarian to really remember all the parameters. So really digital twins. And when we talk innovation, it's to show really how much IA can really help veterinarian to do an even better diagnosis on the cats and dogs they are meeting. So really, if you want to have an immersion in what of the 2.0 veterinarian could be, so really, I really recommend you to meet with Olivier, and he tells you about Pronosia, his business. It's really mind-blowing.
Thank you so much for listening to the Veterinary Innovation Podcast. If you want to hear about our new episodes, please follow us on any social media channel. Also, you can check out our website at veterinaryinnovationpodcast.com. See you next week.